Hello everyone, welcome to another Python video. Today we'll be exploring Boolean and more specifically Truthy and Falsy values, and I'll be also talking about membership operations. In this video, I'm just going to show you some examples of how these are used and really just show you a behavior that you might have not expected in Python programming. So here we go. So when we talk about truthy falsy value, I just want you to know that all non-empty values will evaluate to true in Boolean settings. So a nice little example would be if I were to say that I have a name called Mr. Park, like so, it is a non-empty string. So if I were to say if name, we can print out variable name as a value. And let's run this code. We can say Python vid06 py. Okay, and it's going to output that variable name has a value. That is because even though we're not doing any comparison operations or logical operations here, just that we are putting a value in something called a Boolean setting or context. Let me write context here. So when we have these kind of values in a Boolean based context, right, they're going to either evaluate to true or false, which are the two possible Boolean values in Python. And in this case, when we have a non-empty value, all of non-empty value, as long as something has a value inside, it's going to evaluate to true. So, right. So for example, if variable was, let's say like 2 is still a value, is a non-empty value of an integer. So we can say run, and it's still going to output this because our Boolean condition for the if statement is true, because right now this variable name has a value. Okay, even if we had a list of just a single item inside, let's say like an apple, right, we have a list with a singular item of apple inside, we can still continue to execute this code and variable name has a value because it is not empty. But if I were to delete that apple and provide the variable name with an empty list, for example, nothing's going to be outputted because we are putting this variable which has a value is an empty value, which continues right here. We can state that all empty value right here, you just bring it up to the top, all empty values such as an empty string, which could be either one of these, a 0, an empty list, an empty set, an empty dictionary, and even if you have an empty data object in your future object oriented programming code, if we put them in a Boolean based context, it's going to output false. So in this scenario here, if we can only execute this print statement if and only if this condition is true. But since our variable name is empty, we cannot execute this code. So something like this is used often when we can say name is equal to an input, enter your name. And we can quickly write a an if and else statement here. We can say if not name, we can say print name was not given. Else we can say print hello. Let's do a name. Turn this to an F string like so. And we'll put an exclamation mark like that. So let me just save this code and run this program. So right now, if I'm running this program, it is executing line number 7, where I'm asking the user to type in their name onto their console. So I'm going to just type Jasper. And right now, it executed our else statement of saying, hello, Jasper, with an exclamation mark. But let's see what happens if I was to run this program again and give it no value. So if I just press enter here, it's going to output name was not given. Because so we're saying if name is empty. So if name is false, the not of false is going to be true. So we're saying if not name. So this is a Python way of checking something that contains, or something, let's just say checking if a variable has an empty value, right? So writing if not of a variable name is a Pythonic way of checking if a variable has an empty value. And this is often used in scenarios like this by taking advantage of falsy values in Python programming. Another cool thing we can use in Python is the in and not in membership operation. So we can say that if this value of x is inside some sort of a collection-based object, we can check if that x is found in a variable. So we can check for something like this. We can say if letter A is found in, let's say, Jasper. Print, we can write A is found in Jasper. And let me just comment all this out like so. Just turned off these lines of code, and we're going to execute this line of code right here. We can see that since this character A is found in the string of Jasper, we can output that A is found in Jasper. We can also do stuff like, for example, if apple not in, and I'm going to give it a list of bunch of fruits like kiwi, blueberry, and let's say watermelon. For consistent purposes, let's do that. Print apple was not found in our list of fruits. So let's see what happens there if I run this code. And it's going to say A is found in Jasper, which is our first print statement from our very first if statement. And it's going to say that apple was not found, because we can also check if something is not inside a collection. Here, the collection here is individual strings or individual characters within a string. So a string is a collection of characters, whereas a list is a collection of multiple items. In this case, we had multiple strings. Another thing you do with string is that you can look for a certain pattern. So we can say that, let's say if water in watermelon, we can output water exists inside watermelon. Let's execute this code. And if you notice on the very bottom output, we have that water exists inside watermelon. So the in and not in membership operations won't tell you the locations of these patterns or these items. However, it's a nice and easy way to check that these items can exist or doesn't exist in a data set that you might be exploring. So today we talked about Truthy and Falsy values, how we can use them inside a Boolean setting / context. We also checked that, or learned that we can use membership operations to check something that is, if something is inside another collection or if it's not inside another collection. As always, thank you for watching and stay classy.